Welcome back to Market on Close. I'm Alex Coffey, now joined by Dryden Pence, Chief Investment Officer of Pence Capital Management, to discuss energy ahead of the big travel weekend. Dryden, thanks for joining me here and taking the time. We almost, in some ways, still do have almost a perfect storm, I would say, for the recipe for crude oil to skyrocket. Geopolitical tensions, big holiday demand, all these things. How do you assess the landscape for crude oil and energy as we speak right now?
As we're looking at it right now, I think it's clear that the risk that we had on the geopolitical situation, worried about Straits of Hormuz, worried about Iran and things like that, has greatly abated. I mean, most of this is over, and we went through a period of time where you thought maybe there was something that would affect the Straits of Hormuz, and it didn't happen, and we didn't have oil facilities attacked. So I think from a global standpoint, we can take part of that risk off the table and recognize the thing that everybody was afraid of did not happen. And you're seeing a world that has a lot of OPEC spare capacity. They got about 5 million barrels a day in spare capacity in case something went wrong. I think that we're in a situation where the supply equation is pretty good. And also you have to remember that Iran's one of these countries at war. They need their oil to get out, but they sell it mostly to China in order to finance all the stuff they have. And so therefore there's really no big benefit to them to trying to close the Straits of Hormuz for any period of time. And if they did, the Fifth Fleet could open it up pretty quick. So I think that risk is greatly ameliorated at this point and minimized. So that kind of comes out of the pricing of the market. We've seen that come down. We're in the mid 60s now in WTI. So I think it's really back to a situation where you have a market that's oversupplied, that has excess capacity to overcome any of these big risks, and a market that basically we've got pretty decent demand this summer. But I think we're into a pretty benign pricing structure that between 60 and 70.
With how quickly the kind of pop and then retracement within crude oil markets, was there really any major downstream effects? Are we working through them still? If so?
I think the downstream effects you have has frequently to do with just refinery capacity and issues around formula changes that are seasonal in nature. Most of that's already happened. So I don't think that we're coming into a holiday weekend looking at any great disruptions. If there are any disruptions, it's that you've got more people. You got about 20% of the U.S. population traveling more than 50 miles away from home, according to AAA. And so you just have a demand. A normal demand spike. I mean, the idea that the economy slowing down was going to keep people at home over the 4th of July is not materialized. Everybody's outgoing, everybody's doing, everybody's making things happen. So you could see a little tick up in pricing over the demand side, but certainly not a supply disruption. And there seems to be plenty of distillates out there, plenty of refined gas, and so I think I don't see any spike happening. I think we're in a pretty benign environment.
Yeah, I was speaking with another guest earlier today and focused primarily on the airline travel, and it's expected to be massive. I've always, maybe it's Nebraska in me. This was always a lake holiday. Hop in the car, friends and family, go out of town and it's obviously a long weekend here with the holiday on Friday. So I'm sure tons of filling up at the pump and going out and enjoying nice weather across the country. Let's talk sort of the sector breakdown then. Obviously, you talked about the things that are weighing on crude oil. We've had the short-term impacts that spike it up, but what has this meant for energy companies and the sector as a whole from a company standpoint?
When we look at the sector and we look at the companies, we really like integrated. So you're looking at Exxon and Chevron because here's the thing. They have the ability that they're not just totally production companies. I mean, if you look at Exxon, it's the 9th largest producer in the world. Actually, it's the 6th largest producer in the world. I mean, they produce more than Iraq and Iran. And Chevron's the 10th, more than Brazil and Kuwait. So the important thing here is you have these massive producers. But even though prices have come down to an oversupply in the market, they're integrated. So when you see increased demand like we have here in the United States over the holiday weekends, their margin margin on their downstream is pretty darn good. And so this is why we like them. When you look at, we're not totally, totally excited about energy. You have to kind of keep that in the diversified portfolio. But when you look at the companies Exxon and Chevron, you want integrateds, and they pay good dividends. I mean, you're looking at Exxon at 3.6, and you're looking at Chevron at 4.6. You're getting paid to wait for a moment where oil prices may creep up back to 80, and then profits and margins go really good on these companies. So I think we're in a situation here where you're getting paid to wait, you're getting a decent dividend, you're staying integrated, you're avoiding most of those risks, and geopolitical tensions have really not materialized as much as it pertains to oil prices in and of themselves. And so,
Dryden Pence, thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate it, and I wish you a great long and happy long weekend for the 4th. Of course, Dryden of Pence Capital Management. It's going to do it for